Who would you say is the greater Premier League goal scorer of these three players? Cristiano Ronaldo, Didier Drogba, Son Heung-min.
So like it's there are teams that right now, if they lose, I'm not going to be surprised. Chelsea is one of them. Everton is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Manchester United is one of them.
What?
It was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. That's why he wants to iron it out with Kaizer Chiefs coach. You know, for me, it's like, if you don't pick my players, don't go out there and say such things.
Precisely.
You know?
And even worse, I mean, Mesanteki was at some point also coach of a national team. I mean, how disrespectful can one get?
Manchester United are protecting their brand and they're saying, listen, after everything that's gone on, he can't play for the club. And
For now.
But I think they also understand they cannot sell him right now because he's not played football for over a year, competitively at least. Clubs don't want to touch him.
Well,
Send him out on loan to Getafe, the one club, one of a few who want to take him on.
Yeah.
Maybe he scores a good bag of goals in Spain, and then he becomes valuable. An elanguished performance from Chelsea. The Hammers win again, and controversy all over the weekend. This is OnsideZA, powered by Betway. Get way more. Joining me, Len Moleko. Thank you for joining me here.
How's it, Marco?
I'm not.
How's it, Marco?
I'm not.
You shouldn't have started with him. You should have introduced me first.
I'm not acknowledging it. Patrick Haaland, super sub.
Yeah, man. You can see my jersey. Unfortunately, the ballers can't see.
It's a vintage episode.
It's a vintage episode, yeah, man.
For those who can't see, obviously, Super Sub is wearing a vintage Manchester City shirt.
Yeah.
Please write in the comments, because it's the most ridiculous thing in the world to wear a vintage Man City shirt.
Because they're not vintage.
Don't start with me, okay?
They're not vintage.
There's nothing vintage.
Don't start with me, okay,
and why
guys?
do they have stars, actually, from a vintage place?
Don't start with me. I'm not going to get into this argument with you guys.
Okay, what are the stars for?
Hey, man.
That was the third Premier League title, I think.
This is a treble. Yeah, no, you can't take that.
Fine, we'll give it to you.
Speaking of trebles, one of the youngest Premier League hat-tricks in the history of the Premier League, for a young Brighton star, Mr. Ferguson himself.
I did speak about him in one of the earlier podcasts.
You did.
That he is likely to be one of those players that Brighton is going to sell to one of the bigger teams for a ridiculous amount of money.
I see Chelsea coming with 150 million next summer.
And still get lost in the forest.
Or Liverpool, and then he will reject him.
You and I, we love a pun. Because I said elanguished Chelsea, because Anthony Elanga scoring the winner for Forest.
Yeah.
So
that went over my head, I must be honest.
That's why I thought I must explain.
And that's why City is not vintage.
Yeah, so young Ferguson is the one hat-trick we're talking about. We can ignore the Haaland hat-trick. It's like it's every week now.
It's like, with Erling Haaland scoring a hat-trick, it's almost like the sun rising from the east and setting in the west.
That's simple.
It's going to happen.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to happen.
Unless if the sun rises from the south, then it's like, okay, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And MacGyver was on this podcast not so long ago saying, what does he do?
He scores hat tricks.
Well, MacGyver says doesn't have flair.
Oh, he doesn't
have flair.
Yeah, no, but he's a striker. He does his job.
He's a typical number 9. You don't need flair to be a typical number 9. You just need to bang those goals.
Like Zakele Lepasa, if we look at him this season, obviously going into our first conversation, Lepasa scoring goals.
That's all he needs to do. And the difference between Lepasa of this season and Lepasa of the past season is that he is now playing more in the box. Lepasa used to track back, try to get the ball for himself. Now he's positioning himself in the box, and that's why he's getting those chances, and he's very clinical and he's scoring those goals.
And I'm going to get into that for the fixture of the weekend later on when we go into some of the tactical analysis of Arsenal versus Manchester United. But there were 3 hat-tricks, a treble of trebles this weekend in the Premier League. And who would you say is the greater Premier League goal scorer of these 3 players? Cristiano Ronaldo, Didier Drogba, Son Heung-min.
Drogba for me.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's between Drogba and Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm on the fence on that one.
Son Heung-min has now scored more goals than both Cristiano Ronaldo and Didier Drogba in the Premier League.
But he has played more games than them.
Yes, he has. But I'm saying in terms of the number of goals, purely, only.
No.
Look, how many cups has he won?
He plays for Tottenham. We don't do that here. We don't win cups.
Do that, yeah.
We don't win cups.
Didier has a Champions League. Ronaldo has a Champions League.
Yeah, I know.
Premier League titles, FA Cups,
Exactly.
League Cups.
Song has none of those.
Yeah, he's got a silver medal of Champions
He's got a
League.
Tiger Cup.
Yeah, well, look. That does not count,
But
right?
Doesn't bite.
Son Heung-min in
He's joined the club. He's joined the club. Welcome.
Son Heung-min in a different side.
He would definitely be a winner with... I was going to say Chelsea or Man United, but both those teams
Not right
really
now, maybe,
are not... Can he fit into a Man City side also?
I think so.
Who do you replace him with?
Jack Grealish. I would pull out Jack Grealish for Son Heung-min.
Yeah.
I would.
I'm looking at the vintage brother.
Look, I like Jack Grealish. I think he's a good player, but
Jack is a good player.
Just because you can't get rid of Bernardo Silva, I think he's absolutely critical and underrated.
Yeah.
And I think you can't remove Haaland. So obviously Jack Grealish.
Yeah, I'm more likely gonna agree with you in a sense that Son gives you goals. And Grealish, what he gives to Manchester City, he holds play. You know, he draws defenders to him and then he opens space for others. So, yeah, look, I think, I think I agree with you there. I think because Son gives you goals.
And he hangs you up.
Is there a higher compliment than that you would make a starting 11 for Manchester City?
At this point in time, no.
There is no bigger compliment.
So if I think the biggest compliment now is making a second team of a Manchester City.
Yeah, that's a compliment. Would Son Heung-min make Real Madrid? No. Just because of Vinny Jr.
But, so...
Speaking of trophies,
Real Madrid.
Let's speak about trophies first. Because if there was a trophy for coming late to a podcast, Tshepiworldwide would get that trophy. Tshepi, please come in.
Yeah, I should have gold medal.
Hello.
Welcome.
Ballers. Please welcome Tshepiworldwide. Welcome to the show.
She's a Celtic.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Guys, I'm blaming Eskom on this one. I'm sorry.
Eskom?
Yeah, whoever's responsible for the power in this country.
Okay, you missed some puns, some Premier League talk.
Already?
And now that you're here,
How do you
we're
guys
talking
pun
about
without me?
Son Heung-min.
Okay, cool. Can we give you some power?
Okay.
Okay, cool. You've got all the power in the world.
Hi, guys. Hello, chillers.
Ballers.
Again, yo. Tshepi, what weekend did you have?
Let me help her quickly.
Wow.
Hey, guys. Hey, ballers. Hey, guys, man. It's been a long day. I mean, I haven't had power for hours. So,
Well, now that you're here,
Are you
Yes,
switched
darling.
up now?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
now that you're here, we're talking about how Son Heung-min is now a greater Premier League goal scorer than both
Did you see
Didier
what he
Drogba
did?
and Cristiano Ronaldo. He scored a terrific hat-trick. We touched on Evan Ferguson's hat-trick, and we touched on the hat-trick from Erling Haaland, which is as common can be. So just some terrific football played all round by many teams. Some teams not doing as well. Impressive performance from Sheffield United, Len.
Yeah. It's a case of like, the surprising thing about it is you think some of the minnow teams will just like roll over and just be,
And
you
take
know,
it.
like you're speaking about Sheffield United. Do we consider Nottingham as a minnow team as well?
Well, I think it's an impressive win for Nottingham to beat Chelsea. It was an impressive win.
It's Chelsea. Come on, it's Chelsea.
But okay,
It's
Sheffield
Chelsea,
United,
it's
it's
Chelsea.
Everton.
Yes.
Everton have been so poor; they seem very easy to beat.
So like it's there are teams that right now, if they lose, I'm not going to be surprised. Chelsea is one of them. Everton is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Manchester United is one of them.
Unfortunately, Burnley is one of them.
Burnley.
Lyle Foster getting another goal for his birthday
Mm-hmm.
this weekend.
Yeah, but I get the scoring of the goal, but like
He's
the
still
team
taking an
not
L.
winning, man.
Yeah. Still an L.
They've had a tough set of fixtures to start off with, to be
That's true.
very
And I
fair.
think
So I think they'll come right because they seem to look quite good.
that postponed game against Luton
Hurt them.
because I think they were going to win that game,
Mhm.
right? It would have given them some level of trajectory on some like, okay, cool, we won. Let's work on this momentum type of thing.
Yeah.
But because also they had like a 2-week break or a week break of sorts, it was like, okay, cool. And then you go play against a Man City. I think it's Man City that they played against.
That was their opening game.
That was their opening game on the
They
Friday.
played
Aston Villa, rather. Sorry, Aston Villa, the 3-1 loss, yes. You go play against an Aston Villa side who, yes, they might have lost against Liverpool, granted, but like, hey man, they're not there to like, you know, tick boxes.
Mm-hmm.
They are there to get results.
So I think
What do you think it's going wrong there? Is it a combination of you in a new league, you didn't reinforce your squad, and you've
With
got
Burnley?
they invested a little bit, maybe not enough for the
not
Premier
enough
League,
for Premier League.
but I think it's just the typical issue of that the running of games to start off with has been really tough. They lost to Spurs, Manchester City, and Aston Villa.
Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have
Which
to
are
face
fairly
all
good
the
sides.
Nottingham.
Could you ask for a worse start
As a new team,
as a new team?
no.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult start. And also you've got a manager who's new in the Premier League in a way. So I think
Into coaching, if we look at it.
into
actually.
coaching if you look at it. So
Because-
he's
He's
still
a
trying
bit
to
of an
find his
amateur.
feet.
Let's look at the fixtures that they played, right? It was Man City, it was Villa.
And Spurs.
It was Spurs.
Yeah.
Pep has been around for a long time.
Unai has been around.
Unai has been around for a long time.
Ang Ball is unstoppable at the moment.
Exactly. So, like, you are a fairly new coach. I mean, you just retired about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, from professional football. And now
And now
have-
you're into
yeah,
coaching.
Yeah.
You were coaching in Belgium. Now you're in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. It's a different
Yes.
ball game altogether.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like
So fixtures coming up
Nottingham.
for Burnley. Yeah, away to Nottingham Forest on Monday, the 18th of September. Then
And
That
at
could be
away
a win
to
for them.
Manchester
at
United.
home to Manchester United.
that's a win.
Away to Newcastle.
Oh, see.
At home to Chelsea, and then away to Brentford. Those are tough games because their next 2 home games, they've had 3 home games. These are their first 5 home games of a Premier League season. Manchester City, Aston Villa, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, Chelsea.
They're gonna have
Those
two.
are your 5,
They're gonna have 2 wins out of those 5.
United and Chelsea.
I mean, like, come on.
They need to get on the score point. They need to start scoring points now.
This is a man
Yeah,
speaking very
because,
low.
I
He
mean,
wants
it's
me
not
to go into
looking-
my tactical analysis of Man United versus Arsenal already because his team were cutting it tight.
What? Which team?
That team. They were cutting it tight.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You really love your team. In this scorching heat and you're wearing a scarf.
I don't get this. What's going on? Relax. Are you okay? Is everything okay at home?
Guys, let's move on. Tsepi, now that you're here, we can
Yes,
actually
darling.
speak local football. Mamelodi Sundowns.
What did I say?
They ruined your picks for the
yeah,
weekend.
and I would have had a.
You would have had a clean sweep.
Yeah.
You would have had a clean sweep. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But Mamelodi
Some
Sundowns
cookie
getting
crumbles.
the draw against Kaizer Chiefs. You backed Chiefs to do well in that game. They nearly won it. Sundowns scoring in the last couple minutes of the match.
Yep.
And I don't know how that result was because Sundowns dominated.
Yeah, no, Sundowns dominated that game.
Dominated.
Like, geez, I don't know how they were not scoring, you know.
Yeah.
Gaston Sereno, all over.
Yeah.
The man without a price. Like Pito Musimani said. Look, you know, sometimes people say things and you look at them and somewhat they come into fruition.
Okay, elaborate.
What did Rulani say about Chiefs?
You tell us.
What did he say about
You've got the mic.
about
Just
Chiefs?
grab it closer to you and tell us.
He said God is probably a Kaizer Chiefs supporter.
Oh, wow.
But he said he
Blasphemous.
also loves.
Kaizer Mutau Jr. Yeah, but like that's a cabal thing of like,
What?
yeah.
What?
What?
Why would he say
Google it.
that?
Google it. Seppi, come, bring it up.
No,
Fact check.
Rulani Mukwena said, I probably think God is a Kaizer Chiefs supporter because somehow things in certain instances or in certain key matches,
Yeah.
things seem to go their way.
I'm a course saying it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Yes.
Ah.
I'm a course.
What is
yeah.
a Kosi in English?
It's a chief. That's why I'm a coach. Chiefs.
Chief.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Chief.
Yeah.
Chief.
Chief.
But like, I genuinely think like with the amount of attacks that Sundowns did,
Yeah.
how they applied themselves in the game, only to score
And then
An
9
equalizer.
minutes.
in the dying minutes of the match.
But now they're going back to Pretoria with a draw.
It's a
But
good away
it's
goal.
advantage for them.
me help you, Chief.
Chief. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome, Chief.
Jeez, you're having fun
I
today.
mean, it is an advantage for them.
It's advantage.
It
It's
is an
advantage
advantage for them.
Sundowns because
Yeah.
it's 1-1 away goal.
Mhm.
Sundowns can just like literally go and play like what 6-7 defenders and just protect the
aggregate.
the aggregate.
Yeah,
No.
that's it.
Because it's in their advantage.
Mhm.
But knowing Sundowns and knowing Rulani Mukwena, they're not gonna do that.
No,
Of
no,
course not.
definitely. I think they're
In
going
fact,
to
I
come
feel like
out
they want to
blazing.
come back and prove a point.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I
They'll
agree
play
with
their
you.
game. They're
I think they were
Sundowns.
not expecting Kaizer Chiefs to come, as strongly as they did.
Were
and I
they
think most
actually?
people
Oh,
are
no,
still.
they were not. I don't think they were
Not
strong.
They were
people in this
not.
room were not expecting that either. Okay, because it's
No.
not something that happens with Kaizer Chiefs. That's what we have been anticipating. But I've been
we
saying that I'm
did-
seeing some improvements in Kaizer Chiefs, and it's
Jeez,
still
I look
yet
at those
to see.
statistics, and if I stand to be corrected on
Yeah.
this, maybe Tshepi can pull it up.
Yes, darling.
Bikini. No,
Chiefs,
not
I think,
her
had
feeling-
4 shots.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of them
At
was
goal.
At goal and one
Not
on
one
target.
on target.
Only one
Yeah.
on target.
And they
Yeah,
didn't even
that's
have
true.
a corner.
How many saves for
Peterson.
Peterson?
5 saves for Peterson.
I thought it was more. He looked busy.
5.
Imagine playing a game for 90 minutes and you don't even create a corner kick.
Yeah, that's probably that's.
No,
That was a
sometimes
very
we're dominant.
strange match.
But sometimes tactically, when you're playing against the best sides, a win's a win.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And
They almost got away with the win.
And maybe tactically, that's the way they wanted to do it: is absorb and then create. You just need one chance that you're going to take.
Let me go to my rant.
Ah, yes. And now, brought to you by Betway. Ballers, please welcome Len Moleko with a Len Moleko rant.
Let's hear you. What yanks your chains
Has
today?
Kaizer Chiefs gotten to a point of looking at a draw
And being okay.
and being okay with it?
Against any other side,
Mm-hmm.
it must be a hard no.
But this is Kaizer Chiefs we're talking about.
Yeah, look.
The biggest team,
Wait.
well, by numbers, in South Africa.
Are they not are they not one of the biggest teams in African football?
in
by
terms of
numbers,
support
they
base.
pro- yeah, they
supporters,
probably
yes.
are, yeah.
Supporters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, because I almost said something that was going to be very controversial.
No, don't.
It didn't.
Yeah, no, let me
Didn't
not.
even the British rock band from Leeds Kaizer Chiefs, aren't they called that because of Lucas Radebe?
Yes, and they don't use the Z, they use the S in their name. Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is
they're
like
all big.
the
But
influence
what are
is
we
there.
saying? What are we saying?
What is
No,
your
no, no,
point?
no, no.
Exactly.
So he's
What
They
are
are
we
well,
saying?
they are well. No. Kaizer Chiefs are well
I
supported.
get your point. Let
Can I make this reference? Len Muliko sat on that chair and he was okay with Arsenal finishing second to Manchester City. A whole Arsenal.
but Arsenal.
But Manchester City
It's Arsenal.
is that great. So Mamelodi Sundowns is that good.
The thing is, it's what he's saying is true, and it's like, will Man United fans be okay with a draw? This is the biggest club in the world.
Were they okay with the 3-1?
You're
But
okay.
you can
You're
continue.
okay with a draw if a game goes a certain way and you come out with a draw and you're like, okay, happy with the
Yeah.
draw.
Fair point.
But
Yes.
are you going to be okay with a draw before the game even kicks off? Kaizer Chiefs fans won't be.
No, they're
No.
not.
Man United fans won't be.
Pirates fans will
I don't
be.
think a self-respecting
Sundowns
fan
fans,
would be
obviously,
happy with that.
they
I
have
don't
no
think
reason.
Kaizer Chiefs fans were happy with the draw. They were
So-
not happy.
So
at
here's the
all.
thing, ne?
I mean, everyone wants to win. I mean, a self-respecting fan would want to go there with a clear win.
But if you're from a smaller side, you'll say, if we come out with a draw today and then take it to a second leg and then try and beat them in a second leg, if we can get through the first 90 minutes of a 180-minute fixture with a draw, I'm happy with that.
So here's where it has gotten to, right? You get the likes of Sikukune United, Chipa United,
Tukune FC.
oh, Sikukune FC, sorry, Chipa United, TS Galaxy,
Royal A.
Royal A, Andile Mpisa, going to certain fixtures saying, we're going to get 3 points here.
That's that is TS Galaxy when they go to Chiefs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Chiefs, which is supposedly a big team.
It is a big
Well,
team.
by numbers. But is Chiefs a big team? And I think that's where my rant is coming from. Are Chiefs actually... Let's actually dissect this. Are Kaizer Chiefs a big team?
Look, for me, I feel like we've given Chiefs enough airtime on this podcast.
Yeah, no
And
lies.
I think we've spoken enough about Kaizer Chiefs,
Extensively
their
even.
shortcomings and all
Yeah.
of that.
We're not the service provider from Midrand. So we have not given them enough airtime.
Come on. But anyway, but what I'm saying is
a big team. Okay, what constitutes a big team? Is Cape Town City a big team?
Silverware, number one. Support base,
History,
history,
heritage.
because
players.
if you're gonna say whatever you're saying about Kaizer Chiefs, what are you saying about Manchester United?
They're the same.
They're the biggest
Many-
side in the world, but they're not doing well now.
Exactly. So Chiefs are one of the biggest
Biggest
teams
sides,
in
but they're
South
not doing
Africa
well.
or in Africa.
I have not been doing well for a
They've
while.
just not been doing well for a while.
Yeah.
So by virtue of having legacy support, does that make you a good team?
No, it makes you
it
a
makes you a
big
big
team.
team.
It makes
not
you a big
good
team,
one.
not a good
but-
one.
Okay, what is big?
Big
It's support base, silverware,
history.
history.
Everyone
And
knows your
they
name.
have all of those.
That's
Okay.
big.
You penning this the wrong way. Big. The pen. Brain.
Yeah, well, calm down
Indeed,
with the
it's fine,
puns.
it's
It's
okay,
okay.
it's okay.
Calm down with the puns. Get to the point. Yeah.
I'm saying.
What is happening?
I'm
I
off.
love it.
No. I don't like the narrative that people are saying Chiefs is a big team. Yes, they've got a huge following.
That makes
but they-
them a big team.
No, they've got a huge following. They're not a big team.
They are a big team. They've got the history, they've got silverware, and they've got the following.
Is Lizzo
Those
a
are-
big artist for
Wow.
music? Because what
Wow.
I'm saying,
I don't know. I'm
what
not
I'm
doing
saying is, everyone knows her name,
Who's that?
Lizzo.
Who's that?
Yeah.
It's fine.
You see,
But what I'm saying
my
is,
point
she's going
exactly.
through a bad period
Hey,
now,
Aye.
but she's still a big act. Is what I'm saying.
Can she show up?
She's actually bigger than Beyonce. Anyway.
You'll get that when you figure out who Lizzo is.
Look, it's
But-
it's showing up, and I think certain teams have not shown up. Swallows used to be a big team,
yeah.
and I'm saying big in terms of winning trophies
Doing
and
stuff,
whatnot.
yeah.
Super Sport, yeah, they've
Super Sport is
recently won
actually a
stuff.
big team.
They there and thereabout.
Yeah.
Big teams in this country are only two.
Which is?
It's Orlando Pirates
Kaizer
and
Chiefs.
Mamelodi Sundowns. That's it.
Yeah, no, I disagree with you on that one. Chiefs is a massive club. Chiefs
It
is a
is.
massive.
They've got a big following. They are not a big team.
Listen, so how do you get the following?
Legacy.
May I have some water, please?
You get the following. A team gets the following one
Because
by
they've
winning.
accomplished great things in the past, and that's how they were able to build this following.
Did you
Thank
see
you,
how many
Tshepi.
people
I mean-
were at Soccer City or FNB Stadium? Sorry, I apologize.
Guys, Chiefs is like an ex that was good.
Okay.
But you are in a new marriage now and you're having
But
a
it
better
doesn't,
life.
I
but
agree
it
with
doesn't
you.
mean
Let's
that when
leave
your
out-
ex goes past you, you still don't look.
Let's
Guys,
let's
Chiefs
leave our
is a-
ex in the past now and move on.
Yeah, can we move?
Chiefs
please?
is a legacy team. They are not a big team. That's it. I'm done. End of the rant.
That was a Len Moleko rant brought to you by Betway. Get way more. This is OnsideZA as we continue down the world of South African football. Vusimuzi Vilakazi, Chipper United. He's the technical director now.
That's a danger.
Yeah,
To
no,
me,
look.
the one thing, sorry, to super sub, but you know, the moment a team, and especially a team that is owned by Mr. Mbenge, so we know how it is, he's very trigger happy and trigger
It's
like,
spicy.
yeah, very much so.
Only
He's a
chili
chili
somewhere.
boy. Yes, exactly. It's very spicy. And if he is going to introduce a technical director or a person who is responsible for the technical aspects of that team, I promise you he's already making way for the coach. Basically, the person who's coaching the team right now.
Morgan.
Yeah, I promise you. Give it a month or so. But I don't see him keeping his job. And so it was quite interesting to see Vusimuzi move from Lemonville Golden Arrows after them doing quite well the past couple of matches and then just jump ship like that. So I promise you he did not just go there just to be technical director, but we'll see.
Money talks.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know what Chipper United does to coaches. I mean, everyone who's been there has, come out. In fact, there was a coach, I believe, from Zim, if my memory serves me correct, and he said that he didn't even unpack. Like, he just kept his clothes in his suitcase just in case.
No,
And
but
it didn't last.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
No, like, so here's a joke that goes around in South African football, right?
Mm.
It's when you get appointed as Chipper United coach,
Mm.
you must just go there with a suitcase and keep it by the door.
Yeah.
Because at any given time,
You're out.
you might be out.
That's it.
And the thing is, it's one of those revolving doors as well. It's not even just a normal door that you close. It just
Yeah.
keeps
Yes.
turning.
I mean,
Because someone's coming in as you're coming out.
Exactly. I mean, Coach Tlhonolola Siema has been that person that comes at the end when they're about to get relegated and he makes sure
Even
that...
Dance
they
Malisela.
get-
Dance Malisela, yes, I was
Marcela,
actually
same,
thinking
you know
about
what I
him.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those teams that,
Yeah.
you can never really say that you have
They
a stable
see-
job.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
see your profile on Facebook or on LinkedIn and they hire
And then
you.
there's
And
also
that's why they
that.
were also looking for a
right
player
back.
during
Yeah.
on Twitter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
I
right, back.
mean-
It was on all
LinkedIn.
socials.
Can
Yeah,
you kick
yeah.
a ball? Well, you might be the next chili boy.
Yeah,
kind of
I
thing,
mean,
yeah.
You know,
If you don't have a South African passport, be sure that you've played at least 50 international caps for your team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Put all of the details there. Man, that was
Exactly.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. It is international break.
Oh, before we go to that, also with movements that are happening, I was actually having a chat with Marco earlier on
yeah.
about Samir Nokovic moving to Tier's Galaxy.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Him,
Okay.
Bernard Parker, the partnership they had
Yeah.
with the Chiefs team
Kaizer
that
Chiefs,
almost
yeah.
that they almost
Yeah. Yeah.
won the league, and the role that Parker played, which allowed Nokovic to actually be an out and out striker. There's something cooking there at Tier's
Yeah,
Galaxy.
definitely.
And the thing is,
Definitely.
Bernard Parker has shown more than once in the past how good he is in a strike partnership.
Mm.
In supplying and supporting another striker and building a relationship with a striking partner. He did it with Majoro at Chiefs.
Mm.
And they were a lethal partnership, the two of them. Like you said, they nearly won the league together.
Yes, during COVID with Samir as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a good move for him, I think.
Yeah, and maybe an astute move from the club as well.
Yeah.
Did
I actually
Royal
like
pay
how
him?
Tier's Galaxy is moving.
Nothing has come out of that story, actually. Hey, I think that story is still with FIFA.
Oh.
Because I think Real AM appealed, as far as I remember.
Yes. And it's still hanging in the air, so we're still yet to get, yeah.
Mamkis is doing Mamkis.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of players leaving and heading off and going somewhere, certain players aren't leaving for international matches, and they're wearing Chiefs shirts and they're staying home. They're not going to play for their country.
Yeah, no.
Bruce, obviously.
Yeah.
Was that a fair comment?
What?
It was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. That's why he wants
There's
to
need.
iron it out with Kaizer Chiefs coach.
Yeah,
For me, it's like if you don't pick my players, don't go out there and say such things.
Precisely. And even worse, I mean, Msonzeki was at some point also coach of a national team. I mean, how disrespectful can one get?
How many matches did he win?
It doesn't
Which
matter. Oksalayi
AFCON
was
did he get
national
us
coach.
to?
But Oksalayi was coach. What did this man do for us?
Took us
He
to
got us to
AFCON.
AFCON.
Okay, whatever.
But yeah, I didn't like his comments because I think
think
you
it's
need to
unnecessary.
respect players, you need to respect the clubs, because at the end of the day, if you're a coach, you need to have that relationship with the coaches of the
Clubs.
of the clubs.
Definitely.
And I think that little bit it tainted the relationship a little bit. That's why he wants to iron it out with Ntseki.
Remember, was it there was a time, I think about a year or 2 years ago, where he was saying that he's not going to pick Themba Zwane because Themba Zwane is too old,
Yeah.
and then picked him for the national side. And then he was like, only a foolish man would never change his mind.
Yeah.
Mm.
Look, I think he gets a little too excited at times,
does.
but again, I'll respect him for retracting, you know what I'm saying, and say, I was
And
wrong,
doubling down. I mean,
especially with the
there's
Themba
nothing
Zwane issue, because Themba Zwane was flying,
Still is.
I mean, he is a good player.
Except for the incident that happened with him, and speedy recovery to him.
Yeah.
I suppose because we're playing friendly matches, it's okay. Right? We can miss him. Pule can go and show what he's made of for the national team.
So Pule got an opportunity.
But he was in the initial squad, though. Well, the 33, the
Yes.
preliminary squad.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
But
the
who
only
does he
Chiefs-
play for?
Chiefs.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I think he gets a little too excited. I think he likes to
Chin.
He likes to ruffle feathers also.
like
He likes to ruffle feathers.
to show off for boss or more. He likes to show off that he's in charge, and sometimes
But he is in charge.
Yeah, but you don't have to be out there, throwing out your toys,
I agree.
At least he's not kissing anybody.
Hey man.
Hey.
Sorry.
So let's jet off now that we're talking about international relations.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. Let's go worldwide with Tshepiworldwide.
Worldwide. Okay, so something
but you
dope
must
that's actually
introduce it properly,
happening.
Marco.
Ballers. It's time to jet off worldwide with Tshepiworldwide, brought to you by Betway on OnsideZA. Tshepi, where are we going now?
We are going international. Something really dope that's happened in Portland. Thembi Kgatlana, I think we know her. She has played for Banyana. She was in the World Cup squad. She is named player of the match after netting a winning goal in the second half against Portland Thorns 3 days after the big goal. The Banyana star has been named National Women's Soccer League Player of the Week after winning. With votes over 35%. So
Sure.
we're basically saying that this person is really making, serious moves. And congratulations to her. I think she just keeps on getting better and better with time. Mutembe, she really does represent us quite well. In fact, she actually beat a second place Jasmine Spencer of Angel City, who had 27%. So it means that she's generally also a person that, people look at and, really applaud. So a big shout out to her. She's actually doing great things.
And the
nice.
irony about it is,
Yeah.
we actually play in the USA in 2 international friendlies, Banyana versus the USA women's team.
Mm-hmm.
That would be dope, eh?
Yeah, and you've got our players being so brilliant, playing in the USA,
Yeah.
not MLS.
No. Please give him an opportunity to appreciate that American football is a good competition with women's football.
Yes, no,
Women's
he loves-
football.
I'm defending you.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Thank you, Marco. But
Definitely.
the others,
Yeah.
No, he loves American women football.
I appreciate what they've done for football in general.
He hates the MLS.
Okay. So another dope thing. In fact, this one is not even dope. I don't even know what to make of this. So we know the whole situation with Mason Greenwood. And I mean, I want you guys to tell me what your thoughts are on how Manchester United has decided to do the
Why are
things
you
they're
looking
doing
at me
for
like
him.
that?
I'm looking at you.
Because Man United told him
They've
to get
decided
tough
to do-
fair out here.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's at Hetafe now and he's got all these luxuries and they're basically just backing him. What are your thoughts on this?
Man United is a Me Too team.
What does that even mean?
The
Every
right-
other week
Mason
there's
Greenwood,
something. Yeah.
There's Anthony. He's also been kicked out of the
There we go.
Brazil,
The Brazil
squad.
Yes, of course.
So, like, what is...
Do you think when Man United posted on LinkedIn for right-wing players, like that was part of the credentials?
They said, okay, this is what
You need this skill.
criterias.
You need to play this many games for your country. Also,
Be
I don't want to say it.
a box in Afrikaans.
What? What? Okay.
It's okay. Marco
You'll
what-
get it. I
really,
got it.
but
I got it.
what
Marco
we-
got it.
Yeah.
My Afrikaans is terrible, but I get that one.
Yes. So, like, it's look, and I think we spoke about
It's
the
a-
Benjamin Mendy situation the
Yes,
other
we
week.
have spoken about it. It seems as though every week there's something that comes out
If
and it's gender based.
if you're a footballer, I don't know if it's an access thing or age thing or where you come from. And again, Man United actually very like pro whatever it is that they assuming to make people look like they are by sending him out on loan with a no buyback option.
And they're paying half his wages.
Yes.
You know, so
You know what the
it
thing
seems-
is?
Mhm.
I think Manchester United are protecting their brand and they're saying, listen, after everything that's gone on, he can't play for the club. And
For now.
For now. But I think they also understand they cannot sell him right now because he's not played football for over a year, competitively at least. Clubs don't want to touch him.
Well,
Send him out on loan to Getafe, the one club,
wanna
one of a
Getafe
few
Mhm.
who
Who are
want to
willing.
take him on.
Yeah.
Maybe he scores a good bag of goals in
And then-
Spain, and then he becomes valuable.
And then we forget that he attempted to rape a person.
But for Manchester United, they made maybe a business decision, and that another club somewhere will be prepared to pay good money for him.
So my question is, we look at all these things, right? Mendy, he was booed in France
Yep.
when he played.
There was actually a banner.
Yes. We've got Greenwood now. There's also a Lodge situation. He's not playing. But like,
But you see, Orlando Pirates was decisive in their decision.
no, granted.
Waibon.
Granted. But like, do you think, and this is my question, if you met Lodge outside wherever,
In the club.
yeah.
Like a football club.
Oh, I was thinking about another club, but like, are you gonna take a picture with him? It's like, I just met Lodge. Like, it's we've got selective outrage, man.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, and not to delve too deep into
The
psychology.
Getafe fans
Uh,
actually came out in
numbers to say-
droves
yeah.
to welcome Mason Greenwood, and the whole thing was masked with him being welcomed with about 2 or 3 other players.
Yeah, well, look, Mason Greenwood's going to be a popular signing for him because he's going to be the star player at the club. I think that perhaps some fans are thinking that the authorities made their decision on the matter. If the authorities aren't going to place consequences upon him in that way,
Yeah.
then they will not. They also perhaps feel that he's suffered enough consequences with a year of not playing. His career has been ruined, whatever. He's aware that he's also suffered consequences. They're also looking at a human being that might have made mistakes.
Which
I'm not
is-
saying this is my opinion.
Yeah.
They're also looking at a human being who might have made mistakes and now has a young child to raise and has a career to revive. And if you're not going to prosecute him and make him serve prison time for his acts,
So
if
why
the
would the teams
government
do
doesn't
that?
deem it as criminal enough for you to not do that, why take away your opportunity to earn
Yeah.
an income in your chosen career that you could be very good at? So
Mm-hmm.
he's got a new girlfriend or wife or whoever, a partner that he needs to care for. He's got a career that he needs to build. He's suffered substantial consequences and he's got a child to look after.
Was he
So
paid
this-
during the?
He most likely was getting paid, I think.
He gets paid, but what I'm saying is that your career ends after this contract then if you don't play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So even though
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
earning
But
enough
he lost,
money,
he lost sponsorship as well.
he lost sponsorships, he lost
Sponsorship,
income.
granted, and match fees.
And matches. So he
those
was
kind
just
of
getting
things.
his basic salary.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things there that you can take into account. And I think moving back to Anthony, again, these allegations against Anthony come
Yeah.
from his time back in Brazil with an ex-girlfriend as a young man, as a pro footballer. And if I just take a moment to talk about the possible psychology of why this is happening, is that these young players be made into big superstars before they're able to mature emotionally.
Yeah.
Then they
And
get
mentally.
pretty girlfriends, whatever, and everyone gives them what they want all the time because you're so great and so brilliant. And they suffer perhaps a little bit of resistance from a partner, and they're not able to take it because they've made themselves larger than life. And they do horrible things. Now, I'm not saying that Anthony necessarily did anything. I don't know. You know,
Nothing is proven yet.
Nothing is proven yet.
Neymar also
He-
went through a similar case,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Ronaldo also
Cristiano
went
Ronaldo
through
went through
yes.
something.
Look-
So there's a lot of allegations. Some might be false. Some might be real.
But for me, with Anthony, and I don't know if Marco you'll remember or Len, I did mention something about his attitude, but it was obviously based on the field of play. You know, that it doesn't strike me as a level-headed person, you know, because,
Wear your heart on your sleeve kind of thing. so
Yeah,
what he does
so-
on the field, he likely does
Is
it
it-
on the outside.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was not entirely shocked when those allegations came through to say that he might have done those things, you know,
Yeah.
because with his attitude on the field, I was like, geez.
That's scary, actually, that you mentioned that, because is there a jury system in Brazil? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, if you are saying that, and now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm remembering chats that we had with Marco, and Marco talking about Anthony and his demeanor on the field, right? I'm
So it
I'm
can easily
inclined.
translate into what he does in real life.
I'm
Well, some will say
inclined
it's
to
passion,
think,
but you know, I
Yeah.
just did not like his
I'm
like
inclined
demeanor.
to think, Kore, he might be.
Well,
might be
whoever this girl is who's now accused him of whatever
Yeah.
actions has done the Brazil national side a favor because he doesn't get to play now this weekend. With him out of the side, I think they're a better side.
You'll prefer him
I
outside
know,
of
I know, I
Manchester
know,
Man
United.
United
exactly.
can do the same thing. I'm
Yes.
happy to be rid of Anthony, to be honest.
Well, not that he was there during the.
So he was there and he didn't do much before the 3-1. But that was around the world with Tshepiworldwide. Did you have anything else for us, Tshepi?
Yes, darling, but there's something that this one is actually a developing story, and I'll keep on just checking it out about Samuel Eto'o, because he is a president of the Cameroonian Football Federation, and he's been doing some dodgy things and some dodgy dealings. And the latest is that he made a decision as a result of his decision to promote a club from the second Cameroon division to the top flight. Troubling evidence about possible match fixing has now been put up against him. So it seems as though he's been basically running this whole association as in how he wants to and how he pleases. So is he giving a whole dictator African vibe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be very sad if that
Yeah.
is the case. Because I mean, we advocate for ex-players to be running the FAs because I think they understand the difficulties of players,
There we
because
go.
they've been in the trenches. But if those allegations are true, then it's really sad because he's one of the few that are running the FAs that are ex-players, you know.
And he'll be remembered fondly by football fans everywhere for his playing career and for him to practice corruption within football, to tarnish what has been a terrific playing career before would be extremely sad.
Yeah,
So let's see how
quite
that story
disappointed.
develops.
So
Yeah.
do we need tin bins in football?
What is that? No.
Do we need
Beans in a
Burns?
tin
Mm.
brand? popular
man.
one.
Hey, my man.
Heinz.
Okay, cool. Do we need some sort of
All
a coup?
Cool.
This guy today, I don't know. Marco,
Guy,
what
I'm
did you
moving
feed
on.
him this
I'm
morning?
moving
Do we
on.
need some sort of a coup in terms of who runs FAs around the world? Because we see it, especially in Africa. I don't know if it's because Africa is put on the spotlight, or we don't know what's happening in America or Jamaica or the USA or
like
whatever.
CONCACAF,
But
yeah.
Africa is always put in the spotlight.
Mhm.
Do we need, and again, who's better placed to run a federation of football in a country? Is it a former player, or is it somebody who knows how to go get the money, how to
Yeah, it's
market
difficult.
Banyana better? How
Fabrizio
Yeah.
Romano. That's the only one.
Well,
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, look, for me, it has to be somebody that has all those attributes. Like, you need to know the business side of things, you need to know the administration side of things, and you need to at least understand the game, and it does not mean you have to be an ex-player. We're just saying that it's usually easier for ex-player
To understand the game.
to understand the game and to understand what players goes through. But if an ex-player has got those attributes, why
Yeah.
not?
yeah, but I mean, what normally happens is that if it's an ex-player, then naturally their attributes are going to be, obviously lean towards the ability and the love for football. But when it comes to administrative aspects or business aspects, I mean, that's when they struggle.
Yeah.
I
but
think
what I'm
that's
saying
where
is,
the
if they
issue is.
have
So if
that,
you have that, and
it's
it's
a
hard
win.
to find a combo, because I mean, we struggle with a person who does not really love football, who's running SAFA, for example.
23.
Whereas in this case, in Cameroon, they have a person who loves and understands the football, but is struggling clearly here. Because I mean, he's been accused also of benching Unana, from the Cameroonian national team.
Well, there
so
was a statement that I saw from
Cameroon, that
Onana
Onana will be
earlier
rejoining.
in the week.
He's rejoining the Cameroon side.
Yes.
Load shedding.
Tshepi's friend. Power.
darkness just follows me today.
Hey,
It's
man.
crazy. It's crazy. Like, I don't even know anymore.
It's
But yeah,
following
that's
you.
all we have for you when it comes to Tshepi going worldwide.
Oh,
So
the
that
other
was
thing-
Tshepiworldwide.
Yeah, the other thing
Yeah.
with
Len,
worldwide.
can we move on?
Yes, darling. Hey.
Is it Tshepi's
Hey.
worldwide or Lens worldwide?
Hey.
It's our worldwide, but Tshepi is the pilot.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes, darling. You were
Yes.
saying.
Jordan Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, forget it.
Must we leave it?
Yeah, no.
Hey, how much time do you think we have?
Okay, and it's a lot.
Okay.
You are right. You are right. It's a lot. But Jordan Henderson, we'll chop it up when we.
Yeah.
We'll chop it up. It's fine.
Proper.
Okay, so that was Around the World with Tshepi Worldwide,
lot,
brought
yeah.
to you by
Thank you,
Betway
Tshepi.
here on Onside. Thank you, Tshepi.
You're welcome, you guys.
Okay, so on to the match of the weekend. Arsenal versus Manchester United. This is my tactical analysis of moments in the game. So, first of all, I think we can look at how the teams lined up, and I've got the graphic up on the screen here, where you look at a 4-3-3 from Arsenal and the 4-2-3-1 from Manchester United, which can be portrayed as a 4-3-3 as well. So they'll line up pretty much evenly. If you see in a game situation, this was most of the game. If you look at this graphic over here, this definitely was most of the game. Right here was Manchester United stuck in their own half with Arsenal pressing them. But Man United had a lot of possession there in their own half.
They did.
And Arsenal opting to go against their usual pressing game. So Arsenal would normally press up and use players like Odegaard to press in when United players have the ball. However, I think that with Onana's ability to join in the passing play in that back line, made it difficult for Arsenal to press. So they did a zonal press rather than a man-to-man press.
So the interesting thing for me is the usage of Zinchenko and Ben White as the fools, right?
Okay, yes. Wings.
Fullbacks.
Fullbacks,
Yes, right? Of which they could go forward. So it essentially means that Arsenal were almost kind of like defending with two players.
In a way, I think Arsenal, how they play, I think they would defend with 3. So if I'm going to adjust this graphic over here, what happens is when ball is played onto the left-hand side of the pitch, Ben White will press forward slightly and sort of try cover the space for Marcus Rashford, but he'll be wary of Rashford running past him. And then Saliba and Gabriel will be the 2 centre-backs that are now defending. Yes. But Zinchenko will then be given license to step up into either the left wing position and overlap with Martinelli, as he did for the Odegaard goal. But he's also given license to fill that space that is left over by, like, if a Havertz presses up, then he can come and fill and create the overlap in midfield. So that's sort of the strategy that Arsenal would deploy on a regular basis anyway, I think. Allowing the fullbacks to transition into different positions or rather invert into different positions, whether they turn into wingers or midfielders.
So what I noticed about this game was Arsenal were very, in as much as they looked like they were not enforcing themselves onto Manchester United, they actually had the bulk of the game in their hand.
They certainly were the dominant side.
Even when they got 1-0 down with the Rashford goal, which was beautiful, by the way.
It was beautiful. But they were able to recover a few seconds later.
And with the Rashford goal also, I think Ben White almost kind of like went to sleep of sorts, because that's the position that he was supposed to be covering.
So I've actually got an analysis of the goal right now, and I'll bring that up. So this is the Marcus Rashford goal against Arsenal. So you see Kai Havertz has the ball here in midfield, and he's looking to play a cross-field pass into the path of Martin Odegaard. He then has a loose ball, which falls into the position of Christian Eriksen, who steps into the field. Then you can see from this moment, you can see where the ball for Eriksen is going to come. White tries to intercept. Then this is a big mistake that I see here from Ben White. If I can just stop the playback of this and draw back to that moment there. So Marcus Rashford has now gone past Ben White. Beautifully weighted ball from Christian Eriksen on the counter attack. Then Marcus Rashford, with his pace, we know he's going to leave players behind. And then Saliba and White now cover the game. So now there's actually 2 players covering Marcus Rashford. You know when Marcus Rashford's in this position, what he wants to do. You know that immediately he's going to step in towards you and then want to cut the ball back. Cut back in on his right foot and strike the ball. Ben White should have shown him on the outside, especially with Saliba there as support. He doesn't. Marcus Rashford steps into the inside and then finishes. So if you look back at that again in full speed, in a way, Havertz plays the ball. Eriksen makes the interception, steps up into midfield. Rashford on the run, sees the gap, wants to play into that space. Bang. Collects it for Marcus Rashford, who then cuts back inside and finishes to the right-hand side of the goal.
And poor position there by White and Saliba there, you know.
2 defenders on him, and neither of them really shows him, and you can only criticize Ben White for that. Neither of them really shows him to the outside, which should have been the preferred option, knowing that Marcus Rashford wants to cut in on his right foot.
That's why they chose Maguire to be in the national team for England over Ben White, because he made that mistake. Anyway, which also is total nonsense. I don't understand why that was the decision. But anyway, we're not discussing that right now.
No, we're not.
2 points to discuss.
Shall we do the Martin Odegaard goal first? Because that came before the contentious decisions in the Arsenal-Man United game. So I have a graphic here of the Martin Odegaard goal, which was a stunning goal. So we see that Arsenal are on the attack. Martinelli collects the ball on the right wing, plays a clever ball to Zinchenko, then steps into the space. Nketiah, first time ball to Martinelli, steps inside the box, wide open Martin Odegaard, bang, into the net. If you look at the movement of Arsenal once again, as I play this through at full speed once again, is the Martinelli ball to Zinchenko. He takes 1 touch forward, plays it square to Nketiah, who plays a first time ball to Martinelli, who steps into the box, draws 3 Manchester United defenders, by the way. If you look at that part of the graphic here is as Martinelli steps into the box, he's got Casemiro, Martinez, and Lindelof all marking him. Martinez tries to make a block on the ball to Odegaard. However, Martin Odegaard's left in bags of space and takes the ball onto the penalty spot and finishes past Onana.
So you
Clever by Martinelli there. Very clever play.
Yeah,
Very clever play from Martinelli and
Because it
Nketiah
draws
as well.
defenders to him, and then it opens up the goals, you know.
Yeah.
But
So
you also have a case of Saka could have scored because he was in a clear position because Man United defenders looked like they were huddling together.
well, I think Dalla
and
was
not
well positioned for
men
Saka.
marking.
So I think Dalla was well positioned for Saka. I think Odegaard was the danger man, and even Nketiah found himself in a bit of space that Martinez was looking to sort of try deal with in a way. But then Martinez sees the danger and steps in. So you've got Casemiro, Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka all coming in towards Martinelli over there, trying to stop the danger, which would be the cross. And Martinelli finds the clever pass after some beautiful passing that shifted the Man United defense around, who might have gone to sleep having just scored on the other end of the pitch.
Was Johnny Evans fouled?
It's a tough one because the question would be, would that Johnny Evans have been a free kick if it weren't a goal?
It was not going to be.
Then it's tough to say, but yes,
Look.
Maybe the goal should stand. If it's a foul in the penalty area or a foul somewhere else on the pitch, it should be consistent.
Look, Super Sub, I'm going to bring you in here and Tshepi as well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with Super Sub because he's directly involved.
How?
He had the Akanji movement in the Man City game, right?
Yeah.
Was that a goal? Was that legitimate?
Look, I feel like Akanji was obstructing the keeper. So in a way, he's interfering with play.
I think so.
So it shouldn't have stood.
I think
my
it's an
view.
offside.
I think it
Even
should have
though
been an offside.
he clearly demonstrates that he does not want to play the ball.
Yeah.
He's jumped over it. He's aware he's offside. However, he's interfered with the view of the goalkeeper. He's close enough to play, to be involved in play, to disrupt the keeper's decision making.
Yep.
So I think that it should have been an offside ruling.
I should have gone for a 4.5 over for Man City this weekend in my Betway bets. But like you look at that and you look at the Johnny Evans situation, like when is more so with the Garnacho thing actually, with the Garnacho decision, because if we look at it,
Which Garnacho's decision? The
Garnacho's-
offside.
His goal was
that
disallowed
goal,
for offside
that would have been a game-changing moment.
in the 89th minute.
That's
Yes.
where
Man
that's why
United
United
ahead.
lost the game.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? But was that offside?
Look, football has become some sort of it's now precision, in terms of calculations and all of those things. So
True.
I would like to believe that those.
But if you look at the image, and this isn't a Man United thing, because I think perhaps he is offside and I haven't seen it, like you're saying, it is about precision. But VAR have shown us that they can make mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
They've shown us.
They've made many.
And I think if it were goal line technology that we are arguing with, we'd stop arguing because
Yes.
that's shown to be very successful.
Yeah.
But the offsides rulings from VAR has been sketchy. And if you look at the image that they showed to demonstrate that Garnacho was offside, the line seems to be at a bit of an angle. And that angle is what's put him offside. So I think it's a tough one.
So, Marco, let me ask you this, and I'll ask Super Sub and Tshepi as well. When we get to an offside, what gives you advantage? Is it the head? Is it the hand? Or is it the toe? Or other things that you have on your body?
So we're talking about the finer margins in the game. And the ruling and the regulation says, and maybe you can bring this up, is that any portion of the player's body that is legally allowed to play the ball is what's determined to be the point of on and offside.
So if it's a shoulder,
that's playing you either on a defender. If his shoulder is ahead of any part of your ability to play the ball, the shoulder would be the determining point. The head can be the determining point.
Yeah.
A knee, a toe, any of those things. Anything but an arm would be able to determine
Exactly.
that
And
this
you are
is
correct.
illegal.
And it says, yeah.
Granted, right? So
just let Tshepi say what it says.
Sorry,
there.
give us the exact rule
Yes,
there.
it says a player is on an offside position if any part of the head, body, or feet is in the opponent's half, excluding the halfway line, and any part of the head, body, or feet is nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent.
Second last opponent, that's a key one because
Right,
the goalkeeper is the last opponent.
Yes.
Normally, if the goalkeeper steps up, then the last defender becomes the last opponent.
So let me ask a question then. Right, cool. Because I'm assuming the offside rule, not assuming, the offside rule is there because it almost like tracks back on the advantage that you have over your opponent because your head is ahead or your toe is ahead or whatever.
Yes.
Right? So if my toe is ahead, and the ball is aerial, how is that advantage to me? And vis-a-vis, or vice versa rather, if the ball is ground, but my head is ahead, how is that giving me advantage?
Physically, if your head is ahead, you already
Not
like,
necessarily.
Okay, so let me explain this with
guys.
one
I
very
haven't even
simple.
said what I was about to say,
Sorry.
but it's not
Already,
necessary. Exactly.
like,
but
yeah.
continue, Marco. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll explain this very easily. The rule is not about the advantage or the part of the body that is playing the advantage. The rule is about the rule and the regulation having a strict set of guidelines as a rule of the game. You can see this where a player who returns from an offside position only to then run onto the ball when a ball is played from deep is still offside. You'll see a referee will do this sort of gesture when gesturing to the offside rule, which means a player who is standing in an offside position when the ball is played returns to an onside position and then collects the ball once again because of the movement of himself or the defense. Clearly at a disadvantage because before he's come back, he has been onside at some point. But at the start of the play, as the ball is played, he's in an offside position. So even if I return to collect the ball, say a short pass is played from defense on the ground into the center circle, and I run from an offside position back into onside, into my own half, playing backwards even, I am still offside. So it's not about the advantage, it's about the stringent rule and regulation, which the offside rule is an important rule. That's why we're onside. And
You took my words right off. Like, I was literally waiting to say there's a reason why we are onside with Betway.
But I think that something that frustrates us as football fans is inconsistency in refereeing decisions and things like that. So
In
it's one of our
applying the
biggest
rules, yeah.
issues is inconsistency. So we want to be consistent. And that's why a strict rule saying this part, this part, this part, this part, a strict rule like that is important. So before we wrap
Super
up,
Sub, you wanted to say something?
No, I didn't want to
No,
say.
he's
No, you
dead.
can say what you wanted to say.
No.
I want to hear.
What are you talking about?
No, you wanted to say something before we spoke about.
let's move on.
Before Marco said what he wanted to say.
No, it's fine.
okay, let's move on to our bets. And guys, I think we all have one pick this weekend.
Yeah.
And that pick is non-football related. It is the rugby. It is the Betway endorsed Springboks. I don't know how to say this, but they are an official sponsor of the Springboks.
Oh no, they're backed by
Definitely.
Betway.
The Boks
is
are backed
betting
by
their
Betway.
way with the Springboks.
And so are we. So we are placing our bets with the Springboks this weekend. And no matter what we bet on, whether it be European qualifiers, whether it be AFCON qualifiers, we will be adding a Springboks win to our bets. So join us in betting the right way, betting with Betway, and betting on the box.
And speaking of the box, just to quickly give the team that's going to be playing against the Scottish on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes. We've got Steven Kitchoff, Malcolm Marx, Franz Malebe, Eben Perth, Franco Mostert, Sia Kolisi, he's the captain, Peter Step Detroit, Jasper Visser, Faf de Klerk, Mane Libok, Chelsea Cobley, Damien Dialende, Jesse Creel, Ketley Aronson, and Damien Valencer. So, first game of the World Cup. And yeah, man, we got it bad.
Well,
Scotland.
if you didn't hear any of that because Len doesn't speak into his microphone, be sure to Google the box squad ahead of this.
Oh, we'll put
weekend's
it over.
open.
Yeah, it's here. You can look at the box squad now. Yes, it's here. Number 1 to 15.
And we will be catching you onside on the next one. I've been Marco Martins. He's been Len Moleko. She's been Tshepiworldwide. And he's been our super sub. And thank you so much for joining us onside. Don't be offside. Be onside with us and Betway, where you get way more. See you next week. Peace out.
Danko.
How do they call it in rugby?
What?
The final whistle.
They also blow. Oh no, there's a horn actually.
That goes off in the 80th.
Does it go like this? Pa, pa, pa,
No,
pa.
it's a
We're out.